Hello there, friends and kin. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. We are now into the month of December here in the Carolinas, and I don't know how well you can see it around me, but it's misty, dreary, slightly wet. Not as bad today as it has been over the last couple days, and that's kind of par for the course for November and December here. November always is like a WWE wrestling match between winter and fall, and just when you think winter's finally won out, autumn or even lingering elements of summer come back into the ring and whack it upside the head with a folding chair and say, "Nope, I'm still here." And but once we finally get into December, uh, it stays relatively chilly, not to the likes of you know other places in the world, but we tend to have cloudier days, a lot of drizzle, a lot of rain, and it's just cold enough to make the rain miserable. And it doesn't matter how many layers you wear. You can be dressed in rain gear, uh, winter coat underneath, and it just seems like none of it's ever enough. It's like that cold moisture that's somewhere between 38 degrees and even as warm as 50 degrees just sinks into all those layers, and then you just get chilled and you can't get warm. And so while we may not have to deal very often with blizzards, ice storms, they do happen occasionally, but it's not with any real regularity. We do deal with that cold that just feels like it sinks into your pores and goes right into your soul. And I am not being melodramatic there. And then, because starting from about now through the end of February, going into early March, uh, seasonal depression can get really bad in this area with some people. And just again, because so many days are like this, where it's cloudy and uh, misting, and it just seems like we don't see the sun as much. And then you just get that cold that sinks into your layers and won't let you go. And there have been some years where I felt like I got chilled in early December, and I didn't warm up until around Easter time. But that's just the flow of things here, and that's just part of our cycle. But that being said, let's continue on. We've got the last couple of paragraphs of this particular section we're on, and I've puffing on the pipe today, and in particular, I'm smoking a small batch from Cornell and Deal, San Sepulcro, I think is how it's pronounced. I could be wrong on that. But Cornell and Deal occasionally put out these small batches. They're almost always really good. This one in particular, which is mainly Kentucky's and Virginia's, and it's one of my favorite small batches they put out. Alrighty. It is strangely ironic that the world loves power and possessions. You can be very successful in this world, be admired by everyone, have endless possessions, a lovely family, success in your work, and everything the world can give. But behind it all, you can be completely lost and miserable. If you have everything the world has to offer you, but you do not have love, then you are the poorest of the poorest of the poor. Every human heart hungers for love. If you do not have the warmth of love in your heart, there is no possibility of real celebration and enjoyment. No matter how hard, competent, self assured, or respected you are, no matter what you think of yourself or what others think of you, the one thing you deeply long for is love. No matter where we are, who we are, what we are, or what kind of journey we're on, we all need love. In his Ethics, Aristotle devotes several chapters to reflection on friendship. He grounds friendship on the idea of goodness and beauty. A friend is someone who wishes what is good for the other. Aristotle acknowledges how, in the complexity of individuality, interiority is mirrored and fulfilled in the discovery and activity of friendship. Our feelings toward our friends reflect our feelings towards ourselves. He acknowledges the patience required to develop real friendship. The wish for friendship develops rapidly, but friendship does not. Friendship is the grace that warms and sweetens our lives. Nobody would choose to live without friends, even if he had all other good things. And this is where we start getting into some of the real meat and potatoes of this book, I think. Because the real meaning behind this book is talking about things like love, companionship, connection, genuine connection. And it's all encompassing. The term anamkara means soul friend, or at least that's one translation of it. And really, O'Donohue, in trying to explain this what a deep friendship actually is, he's really talking about connection. And that connection can be felt between two people. It can be built between human beings and spirits. It can be built between human beings and the land they stand on. But connection is vitally important. And he touched on something in these last two paragraphs of the segment we just finished that I think a lot of people miss, or sometimes I even would go so far to say is purposely overlooked. Real connection takes work. It is not something that just lands in your lap and maintains itself and just stays there for you to enjoy. You have to put work into it. It takes patience. It takes understanding. It takes compassion and empathy. And all of these things take work. And I think that's why so many people get stuck in this cycle of what O'Donohue calls, worldly success, possessing things, being successful at work to the point of being a workaholic, I would possibly, well, no, not possibly. I would definitely throw the experience of addiction into the mix, because when these things don't satisfy, uh, whether it's professional success or monetary success, buying houses, cars, clothes, when these things don't really bring happiness, people turn to things like alcoholism, drug addiction. These things help us self-medicate so we can just pretend that the emptiness we feel isn't there. And then, that's where things like, even, pornography can be thrown into that mix, and prostitution. These are all, there's a word that's eluding me here, and it shouldn't be, but it's a false imitation of connection. Placebo. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Placebo. It's a placebo for genuine connection, because it imitates some of the sensations a connection can provide. Euphoria, for example, that would probably be the best term to use. We get that euphoria hit, but it doesn't come with the responsibility of maintenance. And so that means, with a prostitute or a porn site, you can feel the euphoria of sexual climax, but you don't have any of the responsibilities of maintaining a relationship. You don't have to give emotional support. You don't have to give even financial support, really, other than just paying for the service and being done. And I heard a joke once that's really what you're paying. This was told to me by some very unsavory fellows years ago, that when you pay a prostitute, you're not necessarily paying them for the sex. You're paying them to go away when it's over, and because you don't want the responsibilities of that relationship. And I feel like that's a very lazy and apathetic and just such a hollow way to approach life. We want the dopamine, uh, we want the euphoria hit, but none of the responsibility to maintain it. And that's damaging in the long run. And if it's not damaging, it's denying yourself something that could be very produce a lot of satisfaction in the long run. But I think people look at things in the short term, and they just don't want to put that level of work and effort to produce that long term outcome. And I do want to be very clear that I'm not demonizing anybody with the statements I made. I'm not demonizing sex workers. I'm not demonizing people that like to have a drink here and there. Uh, that's not really my lot in life, to demonize people, but I do think that those activities, if they become a replacement for real substantial relationships, ultimately they can become very harmful. Uh, and especially in the substance abuse world, where we start to use substances in lieu of real connection with people, and we just numb ourselves to the sensation of emptiness, that can create a void within that can consume us alive. There really is no other way to describe it. It can consume you alive, and I have seen it happen to far too many people in my life. And I will end this video on the note of, if that's something you're dealing with, substance abuse, there are resources out there to help you, and please don't let yourself fall prey to that fate. I don't care who you are, you deserve better than that. That's not a fate I would wish on my worst enemies. So again, if you are suffering with substance abuse, please get some help. And there are plenty of ways out. I've witnessed as many people as I have seen consumed by substance abuse. I have thankfully seen just as many people recover and be able to build real lives. And if those people can do it, so can you. And that being said, I think identifying what's at the core of why we take those negative actions of trying to just acquire as much as we can, or numbing the sensation of emptiness with substance abuse or other forms of artificial euphoria, it's rooted in that longing for real connection. And we're not talking about being a people person, going out to parties and mingling with dozens or hundreds of people. That's not, a lot of times that's not real uh, uh, substantial connection. That's just being around people. I think real, more significant, substantial connections are found by finding special interest groups. Maybe it's a church for you. Maybe it's some kind of spiritual based support group. Maybe it's a book club. Maybe it's some kind of activist group. Uh, but whatever form it takes for you, when you start to connect with people on, I think on deeper levels, like on through philosophical conversation, it creates deeper, stronger connections, and I think you stand uh, to build stronger, more satisfying relationships that way. I mean, even music. You join a band, or go to concerts for the types of music that you like, or better yet, uh, support your local music scene. Go support bands that are trying to get noticed and trying to get established. And you can just by connecting over music, you'd be surprised the types of conversations you can have and the connections you can make. But that should be the goal, to kind of purge from our lives the placebos of real connection and seek out real connections. And with that, friends and kin, I wish you a wonderful, blessed day. And until next time, we'll be seeing you.